Let me sit properly. Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nonkululeko for those who don't know me. If you are new, please feel free to subscribe and also to share and click the notification bell down there just to know when I upload new videos. Subscribing is for free, you won't be charged. It's just for you to know what's happening in my channel. Now that is out of the way, so the topic that I'll be talking about today is grieving. So basically I'll be sharing my story, how I did grieve for my grandmother. 2017 I lost my grandmother, and it was a kind of big deal for me. So I will just unpack that for you. Let me just drink water. So I'll unpack that for you. I'll unpack that for you, and please feel free also to share with me your stories if you've been through grieving. Comment below, and if there's something that I left out on this video, please feel free also to comment, to leave your comment, and we'll discuss it there. So as I said, 2017 I lost my grandmother. My grandmother was sick. My grandmother, she's been sick for a very long time, but she'll be sick and bounce back, be sick and bounce back. It was just a roller coaster for her, and also for us emotionally, as we see her going through that process. Oh, by the way, I'm sitting on top of her blanket. This is the blanket. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, that's the blanket. So that's why I decided to sit down today. I'm sitting on top of my grandmother's blanket. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, she will bounce back, and it was a roller coaster for her. It was quite emotional for us. You know, when you see somebody that you love and adore that is going through such a process, and especially if you grow up in front of that person, you know that person is a strong person, and there will come a point where you feel like that person is going through so much and you've got nothing to do, like there's literally nothing that you can do. There will come a point where I would wish that I can take my grandmother's sickness and just give her a break for that moment, you know. So yeah, that's very emotional for a family. It is very emotional. It's emotionally draining if you have somebody who's sick at home. It's financially draining. It's physically exhausting. So it needs the family to support each other. You need a good supporting structure as a family, because sometimes a certain person will be emotional on that day, and then you are there to give them a strength, and then the following day somebody will be, it's just like a whole lot of drama when someone is sick. Anyway, I just want to talk about how my grandmother passed on. So it was Saturday. I used to work on Saturdays. I used to work Saturdays and Sundays, but then I relocated to a new job, of which on that job I can work Saturdays and Sundays. We don't work. So my grandmother started being sick on Thursday, I think, if I'm not lying. My grandmother started being sick on Thursday. Let me just sit here properly. Ooh, I think I've got a cramp. My grandmother started being sick on Thursday, and then on Friday it escalated. My cousin went to her house, of which that's my aunt's house, on Friday, and then when she got there, they called them Friday evening that my grandmother, she's sick. Can they come just to see what's happening? So my cousin and my aunt drove to my grandmother's place. So they called me on Saturday. So they called me on Saturday morning, and then they were telling me that as soon as you knock off, please come home. Whew. Sorry guys, my memory was full. So yeah, I had to sort that out. So I'm back now. So as I was saying, they called my aunt, and my cousin was at her place. The nurse that is staying with my grandparents called, and just to let them know that my grandmom is getting worse, so if they can come. So they went Saturday morning. No, I'm actually my grandmother started being sick on Monday, because my younger aunt was there from Monday. So on those days, that's where she started being worse and started doing other things that we didn't understand what was happening. So yeah, my cousin arrived there, and then so my cousin called me and says, you know what, you need to come home as soon as you knock off, because grandma is not okay. So what I did, I remember I knocked off around 2. So I went to my place, packed my bag, and then I left. And then I was using public transport. So you know, with public transport, it takes time. You need to wait for the taxi to be full and whatnot. So I ended up arriving around 7 or 8, around there. I can't remember the time. So I arrived, and then my cousin and her mom left already. So I found my aunt and the nurse and my grandmother, my grandmother and my granddad. So my grandmother is sleeping in her room. So I go there. The first thing that I did when I arrived in my grandmother's house, I just ran off and I went to my grandmother's room, and then I found my grandmother lying down. So my aunt followed me, and then she came in the room, and then she said to my grandmother, oh, can you see who's here? And then my grandmother responded by shaking her head and say, yes, I can see. That was the response. And then I started like talking to my grandmother. I'm the loudest in my family. Like, I am so loud. So I started talking and making funny jokes that my grandmother enjoys the most. Like, I would call my grandfather like my grandmom's boyfriend, or I would call my grandmother's name. Oh guys, I would call my grandmother's name and, you know, just make jokes with her. And I would say to my grandmother, yo, uthini mntakasibonde. That was my grandmom's father's name. So I would just do those lot of things, and she was like looking at me. She was not responding like she would usually respond. And then I was like, okay, maybe she has drank a lot of medication or something, I don't know. I just left the room, and then I went to the bathroom, and I found my aunt crying. Like, my aunt was sobbing in the bathroom. That day I was so strong, God knows. Like, I didn't cry that day. Like, literally I didn't cry. I don't want to ruin my makeup. I didn't cry that day. Let me just drink water. That day I didn't cry. I just told my aunt, and then said to my aunt, why are you crying? Like, seriously, why are you crying? Like, grandmother always bounced back. She always bounced back. So I'm not surprised. So why are you crying? We're just here to support each other, and also to support her, so that she doesn't feel lonely that we left her with the nurse and now we don't care. So that's why we are here. So stop crying. And my aunt said, you don't understand. This time is different. And then I kept saying, no, it's not different. You're just exaggerating. Okay, fine. We went back to the entertainment area. That's where my granddad was sitting, and the nurse. So we went there, and then we started watching TV, started talking about what's happening in the TV. Around 9, Normally my granddad sleeps around that time. Actually both of my grandparents, they sleep around that time because they wake up very early in the morning. 5 o'clock they're already awake. So my granddad didn't have any sleep that time. So my aunt would keep on telling my granddad, you know what, you need to go sleep so that you can rest tomorrow, so that we'll have a plan what we are doing with grandmom. So my granddad was like, I just want to sit with you guys and chill. So we sat until what time? Until 10. Around 10:30, everybody went to sleep. The house, we just switch off the lights. Me and my aunt, we were lying down on the bed, we were like talking. And then my aunt said, you know what, we need to go turn grandma around 12. So they would turn her because it was quite difficult for her to turn. And then they will check if she's still okay, if she needs water, or is there anything that she needs. So my aunt said, it's pointless for us to sleep now, because anyway, I would wake up any time from now. The nurse will wake me up so that we can change grandma's sides. So I was like, okay, let's just chill and talk. So we're just chilling. My aunt is drinking her wine, I'm sipping my tea, we're talking, we're laughing. Then the next thing, around 11:30, I mean quarter to 12, to 10 to 12, around there, just before it was 12 o'clock, I started hearing sounds coming from my grandmother's room, because we were not sleeping far from it. And then I asked my aunt, okay, what's happening? And then my aunt is like, no, normally that's how grandma would breathe or something. So I was like, okay, so we're still fine, so we'll wait for 12 o'clock. And then that sound comes back, and I'm like, there's something wrong here, something is wrong here. And then my aunt says, you know what, just chill. I've been here since from Monday, so I know what I'm talking about. So I'm like, okay, she's been here, she knows what's going on. So I just got here. I mean, it's my first night, so let me just relax and see. 12:05 to 12 o'clock, the nurse, no, actually 12 o'clock, the nurse started walking up and down the passage, up and down. I can hear somebody's walking, and me and my aunt, we can hear somebody's walking. And my aunt is like, no, she's still preparing the things that grandma will need, because we need to turn her. We can't go in and out the room. Mkulu is sleeping there, so we can't just go in and out the room. We need to be respectful of their room. So I was like, okay. This lady, she's walking up and down, and now it's 12:05. She knocks in our room. She started knocking, and my aunt was like, okay, I'm ready, let's go. And the lady says to my aunt, call my aunt by her name, and then she says, unfortunately, grandma, she's gone. Oh my word, I'm telling you, that moment, you know, it's something else to know that it's very important how you deliver such news to a person, because it stays forever. Nothing will change. You can't erase that, especially someone that you love. It's very, very, very crucial to know how you deliver the information, because such information, it's very sensitive. So she told my aunt, come this side, and then they started talking. But it's in the evening, I mean, we're in the house, we can hear voices. So I was wide awake, so I can hear what they're saying. So she just said, grandma, she's no more. And my aunt said, you lie. And she's like, yeah, grandma is no more. And then they went to my grandmother's bedroom. My granddad, he's still sleeping, like sleeping. He can't hear anything. He's still sleeping. And then, but what I love and appreciate, what the nurse did, she made sure that we don't see any trauma or anything. She gathered everything that needs to be gathered or whatever, because when a person dies, apparently it's not what we see when we see in the coffin. It needs to close their eyes, mouth, whatnot. So she did that. It was not as traumatic as I expected, I suppose, but still it was traumatic for me. It was a big trauma for me. I was traumatized. So my aunt went to the room, and then my aunt came back, and then when she comes back, she comes to the room. I was wearing my PJs, I remember. She comes to the room, and then she says, "Ntombazana," it means that girl. "Ntombazana, Ntombazana Goga." She said, "Girl, please dress up." So I dress up, and then so that I can be appropriate, I dress up, and then my aunt, she came to me and said, "You know what, so what's the plan now? What do we do?" Because it was me, my aunt, and the nurse, and my grandparents. So my aunt, she said, "You know what, we need to call your dad. We need to call your dad. Let's try to find your dad and your uncles and see what's happening. Let us call the whole family, in fact." And I was like, "Okay, sure." So we called. The first person that answered the phone was my uncle from Mpumalanga. So he answered, and then we told him the news, and then he tried to find everybody else. Then we tried to call everyone, but eventually we got hold of everyone. So now we are sitting with my grandmother. My grandmother just passed on in the house. So we are sitting. My head, I feel like I was a zombie on that day. I couldn't cry, I couldn't do anything. I was thinking about my granddad. How are we going to tell my granddad that my grandmother passed away? That was the only thing that was ringing in my head. Let me just drink. So that was the only thing that was ringing in my head, that how are we going to tell this person that his wife just passed away? So we let my grandfather sleep. So they were just sleeping, both of them. Well, my grandmother was no more. My grandfather was just like sleeping. So we just sit there, and my uncle started arriving. Well, the last born the last born from the boys started arriving, and then he arrived, and then it made things easier for me. And then, you know, when you see a man crying, then you should know shit is getting real. Shit is getting real. When you hear your uncle crying, sobbing, hey, then you must know shit is getting real. So my uncle started crying and started sobbing. That's when I started letting go of my feelings. Like, I cried. I never cried like that in my life. That's when I started feeling like, oh my gosh, I just lost this woman. Like, literally, I just lost this woman. I just heard my grandmother like gasping for the last time, and I felt it. But then I was like, no, because my aunt kept on saying, no, it's okay. I think both of us were in denial, but we knew what was happening, but we didn't want it to admit, okay, this is what is happening. I just cried, and everybody in the family started arriving, and we cried, and you know, those people will come and say, oh, condolences, she was old, she raised you well, what, be strong. I don't believe in such thing as be strong. Be present in the moment. When a situation is happening, be present in that moment. Feel the pain. Go through the pain. Then you start overcoming the pain. Because once people they start saying be strong, you bottling things inside of you and things that needs to be out. And that's why we have bitter people. So I just don't believe in such thing. So I was quite irritated. I don't wanna lie. People, they used to irritate me a lot when they say Qina and Bisakamdala, Begagula. I would just be irritated. Such words irritate me. Anyway, come day of the funeral, my grandmother was buried. Everything went well. It was so emotional. We lost somebody that we love. I mean, grannies, they are the sweetest thing ever. Grannies will always do favors for you. Grannies, they are the best. They are the best. So we lost her. We buried her, and everything went well. Now come Monday, that's where the reality hits you. That you know what, this person is no more. Come Monday, reality hits you. Now you need to pick up the pieces and start going back to work and start coping. That's where I realized that, you know what, death is something else. It actually, for me, it hit me after the funeral, because during the process of planning the funeral and the event of the funeral, there's so many people that are involved, so you don't get time to grieve and to deal with your emotions and whatnot. It was very emotional for me, and counseling didn't work for me. I don't wanna lie, counseling didn't work for me. I tried counseling, it didn't work for me. I tried reading books, it didn't work for me. I tried a whole lot of things and they didn't work for me. But some of my family members, counseling, it worked for them. I don't wanna lie, it worked for them. It just didn't work for me. For some reason, I felt like they are just like digging up, digging and digging and digging, and we keep on digging, but we are not paving the road, but we're digging. So, ouch, let me just stretch. So I need to cut this video short. My battery is starting to show me flames. So anyway, it just didn't work for me, and excuse me, I started having a personal relationship with God, and that's where I started seeing my faith and realizing how strong my faith it is. And that's where I started knowing God personally, and that's where I started understanding some of the things that are happening. And that situation taught me to be always positive, even if something bad happens, but then find the positive side in it. Don't dwell on the negative side, because that's where you start losing your mind, and that's where the depression comes in, and stress. So I had to teach myself to be positive. I had to start saying positive things about the situation, and I had to try not to think about the event when the day my grandmother passed on, because I was there. I start thinking about all the good memories that we had, me and her, and also all the stories that we shared, me and her. I had to go through so much. I remember after the death of my grandmother, I started being antisocial a lot. My skin was not doing justice for me. As you can see, I'm struggling from acne. I've been struggling from acne. So when I'm stressed or when I'm going through the most, my acne just escalates, just be worse. So my skin was not doing justice for me. I was a mess. I was a mess, and I had to look at the mirror and say, you know what, I need to bring back the nonkululeko that I know. I need to bring back the bubbly nonkululeko that I know. I had to teach myself to talk to myself and to appreciate myself and to tell myself how much I love myself, and that it is okay to go through this situation. It is normal. It is normal, the kind of feelings that I am feeling. There is nothing strange about me. So I just have to find a way to deal with it. And I came out strong. Like I came out strong, and I started appreciating that day, when the day my grandmother passed on, that I was there. I heard her gasping for the last time, because for I think a good 2 months I couldn't sleep, because I would hear my grandmother gasping, and I couldn't tell anyone, because people, they will say, the funeral was 2 weeks ago, you still there. Like, you'll find people who don't understand, people who never lost a family member, or people who never been through that situation. They won't understand. And sometimes sharing with people such emotions, it's scary, because you don't know how they're going to react and what they're going to say. So I had to teach myself to talk to myself, and that helped me to appreciate that day, to say, actually, you know what, God, thank you that I was there. Thank you that I experienced it, my grandmother gasping for the very last time. Thank you that I thank you for this journey, and thank you that you are always with me. It is still very emotional. It happened 2017 or 2016, I can't remember. I think it's 2017, but it's still emotional. It is still, I have my moments that I will think of my grandmother. I have my moments that I will say, oh, I wish my grandmother was there. It's normal, and if I feel that, I just have to find a way to deal with my emotion, whether I cry or take a walk or listen to music or whatever. I just needed to find a coping mechanism for myself, what works for me as Nonkululeko. And yeah, I think I'm going to end this video here. I'm sorry guys, the video is too long. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've lost someone in your life, please go through grieving, and it is normal to grieve. It's not something that is strange. If you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like laughing and sharing the moments that you share with that person, it's okay. Share them. Or now we've got social media, you can just post them and write a story about it. If you feel like posting them, write a story about it. Or you can just write a story. You don't have to post their picture. It's just a way of dealing with emotion. It's very important to find an appropriate way to deal with your own emotion. We are all different. Some people counseling works for them, some people it doesn't work for them. For me, in this case, it didn't work for me. But anyway, let us end it here. I love you so much guys. Please, let's spread the love, and let's keep it safe. Make sure that we are safe in everything that we are doing. We are safe, and let us spread the love. And remember to tell the person that you love them each and every day, because you are not guaranteed about the next 30 minutes. So let us live for now. Let us be present in the moment. Thank you so much. Bye.